Shout out to the South Africans for sponsoring the refreshment of the Jaffa Gate. Over here, we have a very interesting little cemetery. Okay, 2 tombstones. One of them has a little Turkish turban on it. The legend behind these tombstones is fascinating. One of them was a Turkish advisor to the Sultan, and when they conquered the old city, the Sultan wanted to raise the entire Temple Mount. And no base of English, no nothing. We wouldn't have a Kaiser. And this Sultan suggested leave the walls of the base of English there, so that everyone had their eye on Jerusalem. Everyone knew that it was this unconquerable city. It was the holy city. Leave that there so that people will know what you conquered. And the king said, that's a great idea. The only problem is, you don't argue with the king. And you did. So, here's the deal. Nice, that's good advice. So here's what we're going to do. You are going to jump off the western wall. If you survive, then great. You're the advisor who lived. And if you don't, then you got what you deserved for arguing with your king. And indeed, he jumped and died. But it's this guy who is the reason why we have the Kaiser to daven at. The other guy is the Turkish architect who built the walls of the city, the Ottoman walls that we have now around the old city. He was contracted to build them, he did, but he skimped on the materials and he made the walls much smaller. He shrunk the old city. The old city was actually far larger. Valley, you could see some of the walls of the Cheskel, the original walls, much bigger. Over here, there's a big chasm, big street, a road, which is now where all the residents of the old city used to come in here. But it's funny, like when you want to have a city that's reinforced, that's protected, you don't want a big hole right next to one of the gates. Well, you can even see the slits where the archers would shoot from. But this is a fortress. Why is there a big hole here? So this actually happened during the Turkish era. Kaiser Wilhelm of Germany came for a visit, and he was a fascinating character, a rabid anti-Semite. He really put Hitler to shame. A generation before Hitler, he was already planning on world domination. He used to make all these lavish, ostentatious uniforms for his army. They were wildly uncomfortable and not militarily good at all. And yet, he was very into the look. And he rode this tall horse, and he had this gigantic hat with a big spike coming out of the top. And it was totally impractical, but he liked the look. So when he came, the only door that was even close to letting him big enough for him to fit through with his entourage was Jaffa. It was one that was ungated, just had a door. And the problem was that he wouldn't fit sitting on his horse with the spike through the gate of Jaffa. So instead of expanding the actual Jaffa Gate, so they made this gigantic hole next to Jaffa. The Sultan also didn't want him riding a horse through the city gate. That was very insulting for the Turks, okay? Religiously. So he wasn't able to ride his horse through, plus he wouldn't fit. So they made this gigantic hole here for the procession. You could actually see pictures of that procession, and it was probably the most pompous thing that ever was experienced in those times. It was a crazy parade, and now we have a nice street for people to drive through.